Everyone please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, call the meeting to order. Egress. In the event of an emergency, all people may exit right or left from this room and proceed to an exit door. All doors will open from the inside. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Haledon Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published in the North Jersey Record News Herald, the board's official newspaper, on January 10, 2024. Notices of this meeting indicating date, time, and place posted publicly on the door of the main entrance to the school and filed to the clerk in the municipality of Haledon. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi?
Here.
Mr. Coletta? Ms. Quadrado?
Here.
Mr. Guzman?
Here.
Mr. Martinez? Mr. Maxwell?
Here.
Mr. Ramadan?
Here.
Mr. Webb?
Here.
And Mrs. Issa?
Here. Okay, first we have a presentation by our first grade teacher, Mrs. Sharon Kiefer. Ms. Kiefer, take it away.
Do your thing, Sharon.
Oh, that was great.
You can go wherever you want, Miss Keeper.
Parking lot? No, I can't.
No.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sharon Kiefer. I'm here to give you guys some good news. So hope you're ready. Haledon Public School has been awarded 2 grants from Arts and Education, the Residence Program. Let's see. AIE programs are co-sponsored by Young Audiences Arts for Learning, New Jersey, and Eastern Pennsylvania, and the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. Our district in the past has received several grants, which included the murals that are on the back wall right behind the gym here, and the lockers. That was part of one of the residencies. And we also were very lucky to have Hector Morales, who is a Afro-Latin percussionist, and he worked with our 8th grade students and did an amazing, amazing program with them. He's a Grammy Award-winning artist, and the people that he works with are of the same caliber. So this is the caliber of artists that we're getting through AIE that are coming into the school, which is really amazing, a really great opportunity. So these programs provided amazing experiences for the students. So I'm here to talk about our current grants that we received. Initially, Miss Barnhill lit the fire under me to get my feet back in and start again. So Mary Rossi, who is our professor in residence from William Patterson University, she and I wrote this, the grant, one of the grants that we received. There was also a steering committee that was established that included Melissa Nascimento, who is our music teacher, Michelle Toscano, who is one of our art teachers, Lauren Cosgrove, who is our SEL counselor, and Christine Caramana, who's one of our 2nd grade teachers. This grant will benefit, actually we got 2 grants. One was an arts lab grant through Young Audiences, and the other grant was directly through AIE. They're kind of under the same umbrella corporately, but they co-sponsor each other. The first grant that we received was a 16-week residency, which means for 1 day a week, the artist would come to the school, and they were working with the 2nd grade students. We currently have a teaching artist. Her name is Molly Johnson. She does a lot of SEL work with the students, social emotional learning work. And she is working right now with the second grade students to, they're exploring SEL concepts, emotions, and they are going to basically what they're going to create is a public service announcement from puppets that they create, which we've discussed with Mr. Walker. We're going to have on the morning announcements so that the other students can see their work. So we're really excited about that. There's a 15-week work session with the artist. There's one session for a culminating event, which I'd like to invite any of you if you would like to come. It is during the day, however, but you're welcome any of the times that the artists are here in the school. If you reach out to me, I'd be happy to connect you with the right place so that you can see what's happening, because it's really amazing what's going on in the classroom. So they work for the 15 weeks, and then they have 1 week where they have a culminating event where parents and of course yourselves are more than welcome to come and see the product of what they've created. Let's see what else. There's in that 16-week program, there's also a professional development day that the teaching artist, Molly Johnson, will come in and provide PD for all of the teachers. And there's the assembly. And of course, they will see the assembly actually is another artist that comes in and does SEL work with certain grade levels. We're yet to be determined. We're still working on that. But that piece of the residency is being sponsored by our PTA. So they are generously supporting that piece. Let me see what else we have. I think that's it for the first grant. Bill, could you pull up the next slide for me, please? So here's a quick example. There we go. All right, so this is the grant residency program. This is just one example of what they did one day. Bill, if you could hit it again, please. Thank you. So this is Molly Johnson asked the students to take a look at these photos. They're art that she had created herself as an example for the students, and asked them what emotion they saw related to each of the photos. Bill, just hold it there for a second. I'm gonna, if you go back to the photos. What really struck me about this was the student responses. And not only was I impressed by it, but I spoke to a couple of second grade teachers, and they were amazed at the vocabulary that the students were able to elicit in response to this. Some of them, Bill, you can hit that now. Thank you. So here's a list of, this is second grade students talking about meditative, disappointed, unsportsmanlike. There's so many words up there that they wouldn't normally use in their normal conversations with their second grade friends, but the teachers themselves were impressed as to what the artist, through the work that they're doing, was able to help develop vocabulary with the students. So it's really integrated into their literature as well. Part of the piece of this residency is the students are going to also go through script writing for their puppet, for their PSA. So again, there's a writing piece to this as well. But she's doing amazing work in the classroom, and the students are really enjoying themselves. I'm going to go now to the grant that we received. It's Bill, if you hit it. Thank you, sir. The second grant we received was through the Young Audiences, and that's an Arts Lab grant. This residency was much quicker. When I was going to present, I think it was back in December, when I got sick, none of these had started yet. But now this residency is already completed. They did their 5 weeks. Laura Marchese is a dancer, and she comes in and she's very gifted in working with the teachers and the students. It's amazing. I've known her for a long time. Her and I have worked together in the past on other arts integration projects. And one of the most impressive things, she basically left it to the teachers how they wanted to incorporate dance into the curriculum. And so she's that flexible that she was able to work with each individual teacher. One of the first grade teachers, Mrs. Saul, chose a science topic. The other four of us, me included, we chose SEL, which I think is an extremely important thing and near and dear to my heart. So we chose that path. And Bill, if you can hit the next slide for me, just take, that's Laura Marchese in the right-hand corner. I just want you to see the look on the students' faces, which is priceless. To see the level of engagement and the happiness on their faces, it just makes it so worth it. It really does. And she's absolutely fantastic with the kids. Bill, if you want to hit it again. And this is just a couple of the other classrooms. Again, you can see how engaged the students are just by the positions that they're in. They're following along, they're right with it. And she's also very gifted. If a student isn't interested, she's also very gifted with at least getting them engaged in some way or another, whether it's counting or something. She's really good at that. Bill, I think there might be one more, but again, you can see we had the last part, the last slide on the right was actually an impromptu dance party. And we happened to, most of the teachers were in there at the time with the students, but it's a really fun experience. One of the things that we worked on in the SEL part was emotions and how you can start from a small emotion and that emotion builds. And dance really lends itself to expressing that in movement. So it was a really worthwhile program for the students. I was really happy to be involved in this. Mary Rossi, I will tell you, is an invaluable part of all of this. She is following Molly Johnson, the artist who works with the second grade. Every time Molly is here, she is here shadowing her, supporting her, and helping her out with whatever she needs. So she's a wonderful asset to the school, and I just want to give her props. So thank you, guys. That's it. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Cooper?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. It's a cool feeling when you get to become a principal finally in a school, and especially a school like this. But I think a lot of principals go their entire career without getting a Mrs. Kiefer on their staff. And I got to start out with a Mrs. Kiefer on our staff. And it's noticeable and it's tangible and it's heartfelt. I think you're a special educator, that you're a special woman. It's just a pleasure to work with you and see all the crazy beneficial things you do for our kids. You're just a rock star. And normally when I go into a classroom, I'm the rock star. Mr. Wacom, Mr. Wacom, Mr. Wacom. I went in and I saw your kids dancing with the other, I think it was Miss Saul's room maybe, and no one cared that I was there. That's how engaged they were. And that's a sign of really cool teaching. And we're blessed to have you. Don't leave us ever, because you're a rock star.
Thank you.
Keeper, I know how much work a grant is. It's not just writing it and, putting all the pieces together, but then once you get the money, you get the grant, then you have to execute the program that you propose, and there are deliverables, and it's all it's very involved. It's a lot of work. So we appreciate so much all the work that you and the others put into it. And I've been lucky enough to see a couple of the programs that have come through already, and I'm looking forward to this one. And I like that the last couple of ones I think were more for the older students.
Yes.
So this one is back down to younger students.
Yeah.
So that's great. And I love the idea of this grant because it uses art. It kind of crosses disciplines and uses art to, talk about ELA or math or science. It's such a great grant. So thank you so much for writing it and for getting it and for executing it and for sharing it with us.
Thank you both for your kind words. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks.
Let's see, let me find my agenda. Let's see. Alrighty. So next we have no correspondence. So can I have a motion to accept prior minutes?
So move. Second.
Moved by Mr. Motzko, seconded by Mr. Guzman. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Matzo,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
And Mrs. Zissa.
Yes. Okay, can I have a motion to open the floor to citizens on agenda items only?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Motzko, seconded by Mr. Webb. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Mr. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Matzo,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
And Mrs. Zissa.
Yes. Okay, so the floor is open for agenda items only. Have anybody?
Motion to close. Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Webb. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Matzo,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Mr. Webb.
Yes.
And Mrs. Zissa.
Yes. Okay, so moving on to reports. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. To start off, I want to extend my heartfelt condolences to the Hinojosa family. As you may know, Pablo Hinojosa, father of 10 children, 7 of which are currently students at HPS, passed away on February 14th. Our teachers and our staff, administrators, and the entire community have done all they can to support and comfort these students and the whole family. I hope it makes their return to school after such a heartbreaking loss a little easier, knowing that we're all here for them. Next, I want to touch on our district's delayed opening policy. So the Policy and Public Relations Committee met earlier this week to review the policy and discuss possible adjustments in order to address some of the parent concerns that arose during the last snowstorm. So first, I want to emphasize that a delayed opening policy has to be flexible just because of the unpredictable nature of, causes for delayed openings. So those are usually weather related, but they could be related to other issues as well. But in general, it's for the safety of our students and our staff. So this year we have a unique situation in that we're undergoing a construction project that has taken up much of the parking space available to teachers and staff. So for this reason, the second delayed opening was called on Thursday, February 15th. If the teachers and staff can't park their cars to come into school, they can't be present for the students. So the good news is that we expect this project to be completed before next winter, hopefully by September. So barring any additional storms this school year, hopefully this won't be an issue at all going forward. Just a note about the construction project. So the planning process was started as soon as all the information was available. However, an extensive project, such as this one, has many moving parts, and it could not actually begin until we got all the approvals from all sides. In addition, it's a 10-month project, so no matter when we started, it was always going to run into the school year and winter months at some point. So all that being said, Mr. Waka and the administration, along with the board, will review for next year the start time for delayed openings, which is currently 10:30 a.m., to see if we can adjust that a bit in order to accommodate our working parents. So next, I want to thank everyone who's already replied with their availability for the board retreat. If you haven't already, please reply, because I really want to get a date down. I want to lock down a date for the retreat. Unfortunately, it's going to be really hard to get a date that works for everyone, but if we have one date that works for most people, most members, then we'll go with that date. If not, we're going to have to go into the summer months, which gets tricky because then people are taking vacations. And so if you haven't gotten back, please do, and then we'll go from there. So on another note, I want to congratulate our own BOE Commissioner, Nathan Webb, and our own Nurse Feggins, Naisha Feggins, for being honored by the Haledon Borough Council at last week's Black History Month celebration. Them both for their dedication and contributions to our school community. I want to thank those who have contributed to the collective Board of Ed donation for the Tricky Tray. If you haven't and would like to, you still have time. It's a really nice way to show our support for the PTA and for all that they do, for our school. You can give your donation to Miss Augustin or to Lois in the board office. And there's also still time to buy tickets for the event. So reach out to Kathy Boyle. Her number's on the flyer that everybody got. And if not, Lois can forward that again to everybody. It's Wednesday, March 20th. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to our Certified Angels program. Just before this meeting, they held their showcase for dance, art, music, and photography, and it was awesome. The students and the staff take so much pride in their work, and it's heartwarming to see. Yesterday was a sports showcase, and I wasn't able to attend that one, but I'm sure that it was great as well. So congratulations to all our Certified Angels students and staff for an excellent job. And hot off the press, we just found out tonight that our very own Commissioner, Mr. Guzman, is being honored by Certified Angels for their 2024, their honoree for 2024. So congratulations to Mr. Guzman. And that's it for me. I will turn it over to Chief School Administrator, Mr. Waka.
Thanks, Board President Isa. I also want to, give my acknowledgments towards the Joseph family. You have that many children and you've been in this town for so long. It's a big deal. And I want to thank you. Like I was going to go to the wake no matter what, but it felt good to have someone to go with. So thank you for going with me. I know a lot of staff members also went there, and it was a beautiful ceremony. Like the singing and there was a lot of joy there, despite the obvious sadness. And I left with an optimistic feeling because of that joy. So I want to thank all the people at the Hale public school community that generously donated towards the family. That's appreciated and very welcome. As far as Commissioner Webb and Nurse Dickens, again, you guys are amazing. I Kansas or Kentucky and you came here. Yeah, like your speech was really interesting to listen to, so it was nice to get that slice of your personal life, and then see your little boy, which was also very, very nice, and meet your wife for the first time, I believe. So that was great as well. And then Miss Kiefer, like I said, Miss Nascimento, Miss Cosgrove, and Miss Toscano, Miss Caramana. I'm sure you worked with a million other people on these kind of projects, but I did get a little bit emotional just because your classroom and my office are pretty close together. I walk by all the time. You're always doing something fun and cool and interesting with kids, and they're always having a blast. And it's just nice to see that everything's working in your room. And I know it takes a lot of work that you put in to make that happen. And it really is. I get a kick and a pleasure and a joy when I walk by your room every day, because you are a rock star, like I said. So now let's transition to other things. So let's talk about the construction. I just want to show you some pictures we've taken the last 2 weeks, so you know that they are building something. So we finally got the steel delivered, and that was about 2 weeks ago when the pillars of the steel were put in. So that's the first picture of our new floor, which is gonna be awesome. Bill, if you can go to the next picture. You can see they're working diligently, making sure everything's right. This was about a couple days ago. This is when the steel beams finally got put in. That's why you saw the crane. Thank goodness we only had to relocate one preschool classroom for 2 days, just because we didn't want to even risk a windstorm, anything like that. It was nice though. We only had to relocate one, and the teachers were Ms. Capello was fantastic, and Ms. Buckworth, Mr. Trina did a really good job with that. We can go to the next one, but this is the foundation for our new floor. If we can go forward, Bill. And here you're going to see what's going on inside. This is actually where they're digging the elevator. We have to have an elevator in order to comply with the ADA, which we're happy to comply to. But this used to be the preschool wing, and now it looks like a bomb shelter or something. It's totally different. So we go to the next one. You see some more of the work they've been doing. We got one more, Bill, and this is more of the elevator projects that they're working on, Bill. And perfect. So that's just so you can see that there is, they are actually, doing what they say they're going to do. Every week, and sometimes twice a week. I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, but Roberto from the Carabino. He's been great. He's our contact man from the Carabino, which is our architect firm. He does an inspection report, and he gives us, and Lamika and myself and Jermaine, a weekly or a quasi-weekly update. And the rain has pushed us back a couple days because there's some stuff where they just need the ground to dry or the air to be dry. But we're still on pace so that when we start the year next year, all the rooms we lost are going to be back usable. And then it's just going to be a matter of time that the cosmetic stuff they have to do on the second floor. But there's a chance that by the start of the year, the second floor is available, but it's also a chance that we might say it might be the second week of school, third week of school that the second floor is finally ready. And if we have to tell some of the new preschool classes, hey, you're going to start the year, but you might just be a week later or 2 weeks later than everyone else, but at least we know everyone's still going to get in, where in the past we had the lottery. So we're at good pace. Moving on with my report, just in our effort to tell you, the biggest thing right now is making sure we're fully staffed, because that's the biggest problem in education statewide. So tomorrow evening, I'm going to Fairleigh Dickinson in Madison to do mock interviews, and Ms. Cusack was kind enough to join me. And then on Friday, I'm doing mock interviews with William Patterson in the evening with and Ms. Buckworth is kind enough to join me, so that'll be a good thing. Lamika's going to give us state aid news very soon, not tonight, it's not out yet, but we know that Governor Murphy says state aid's up $900 million. Hopefully we get some of that. So I think we will, and that'll be good news. So a lot of the programs we've made, it looks very strong. Like we'll continue and we can grow a lot of the things. I know Ms. Hellewa says by the end of this week she's going to release a report to the board. You're going to see at the same time I do about what the info she's gathered from the parent academies. And there were some really good ideas that came out of that. So with extra funding, these things can happen. So I'd like to see at least a couple of them reach fruition. On Mondays, our Read Across America Day. It's a big deal to hail the public school. Listen, I talked to the board president about why the letter went out a little later than it usually does, and we'll keep that confidential. But it's something that won't happen next year. But we've contacted all the dignitaries and explained why the letter went out later than usual. No one had a problem with it. We're still filled up all our spots, and a lot of our spots. Ms. Kiefer actually has triple booked, I think. I don't know if you know that yet, but we have a lot of dignitaries that want to read to our kids, and we're excited about that. For me, I got my my birthday celebration for January and February birthdays. We're going to be hanging out on Tuesday doing that. My last cabinet meeting, or our last cabinet meeting, Ms. Troy and Ms. Roman gave us a data analysis of a benchmark assessment. They did the test they took in October to see how they did. Now we're in January. Went the way they should. In every single grade level, in every single subject, everything went up, which is what we need to see. And right now, we're assessing at about state average school-wide, but that's at the mid-year. So we still have from now until our next benchmark in March to see where we're likely to be when we take the final state test in May. But if we're at state average now, that's ahead of the curve where we were last year. And last year we went up about 12% overall, and if you combine our ELA and our math scores. So we're hopeful that the trend's going to continue. You never know, but right now we're hopeful that it's going to continue. And then, as Board President Issa said, a reminder for the Trick to Tray. It's on March 20th. I get paid tomorrow, so that's when I have to buy my mom and all my aunts tickets. So Ms. Puslaski and Ms. Boyle, I'll be bothering you tomorrow for tickets. But hopefully we can go again and have a great time. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Waka. Okay, moving now to our business administrator, Ms. Augustine.
Thank you, Madam President. So the first thing I just want to remind the board members to complete their disclosure forms. I'll continue to say this until the deadline is passed. So anyone that needs assistance with it, please just reach out to Lois in the board office, and we can kind of get that going for everyone, okay, who hasn't completed The other thing, Mr. Walker mentioned about the state aid numbers, it does look positive. Hopefully, we'll get some information in the next couple of days, and I'll send out, an email to the board members to let everybody know where we are and how we stand with that as far as how we did this year. Okay. The last thing I wanted to kind of talk about was the audit review. It's one of the resolutions today on 13.6 and 13.7. If you look in front of you, you do have your AMR report, which is the Auditor's Management Report. This is a summary of the big comprehensive report. This is also for the commissioners that are online. There's an attachment that you can look at labeled AMR so that you can follow along. I'm just going to go through where we, how we ended up financially with the audit and how we did. The first thing I'll address is the cap, which is the 13.6. So this year we had 3 audit findings on the audit. The first one was related to the bid threshold, which we've addressed with the staff internally, and also processing of getting the purchase orders out and making sure that we stay within that gap that's recommended by the auditors. The second finding has to do with, getting the paperwork necessary to go along with the purchase orders, which is a political disclosure form. We have a threshold of when we go over a certain amount on a purchase order that we need to make sure that any vendor is not, donating to a political party, and that's what the political disclosure is for. And the last one is the ASS. This is just an enrollment count that is done every year around October of 14. And we need that there were some discrepancies on there, and the auditor recommends that we kind of do a different processing when we are actually doing the enrollment count. Other than that, if anyone has any questions, I can answer anything there, but overall the audit went pretty well.
Thank you.
Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is the finance, and if you look into the book that we have on page 13, I will go down some of the totals, and we can, you guys can ask me any questions after that. So this is a summary of our financial outlook at the end of the year. The report starts off in section 1 at the top, and it lists all the total expenditures of the district as of 22-23. Our total expenditures were 19 million, and with that, how the surplus is calculated is that we back out the pension costs, which you see is in the 4 million too. And then with that, that is our total expenditures, adjusted expenditures of $15 million for last year. Now, how we come up with our surplus that we can use in a subsequent year, meaning that we are able to roll over a certain amount of surplus money to balance out our next budget. And what that is, the 2% adjusted amount of the $15 million, which comes out to $309,000 that we could actually use to help budget our 24-25 budget if needed. In addition to that, we also have some allowable adjustments of $66,000, which consists of extraordinary aid and also non-public transportation aid. Okay, so that was a surplus over the year. With that total is $376,066.11. So that total, along with other surplus from a previous year, you'll see that on the next page when we get there. We can use those funding to budget our budget if we are off balance. So this happens every year when we are audited. There's a surplus, and we get a percentage, a max percent of 2% that is we're able to use to help balance the budget going forward. So consistently, from when I looked at the budget, it's been around the same amount every year. Okay. With that being said, if you go down to section 2, this is where we have most of our reserves. We have funding that we are able to use. And on our big comprehensive budget documents, there is on page 72, which you can actually see that it breaks down that $8 million. Part of the $8 million consists of our capital reserve. It consists of our maintenance reserve and other emergency reserves that are in the bank in case we need them. And if you go to page the next page over, page 14. Then one more page over to page 15. You have a $6 million of the specific reserves that we just talked about, which is part of the $8 million. These reserves have been on our books going forward, and that's our reserves that we can use in case we need to do any type of maintenance, capital projects, which we're spending $2 million of that right now. And then we also have a $250,000 in emergency reserve and also our unemployment reserve. So do we have any questions here regarding the reserves and what they could be used for?
I'm gonna just ask you, with the 6 million that we have here, has that been deducted from the project, the construction project?
So 2 million of that will be deducted because this is a year look back. So they're taking the $2 million in account for that. So this $2 million is budgeted in our budget now. So if you take that 2 million from the 4.8, just kind of take that in consideration, because once the audit is done for 24, 23, they'll recalculate those figures to see how much we're using.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So overall, we're in a good financial position with our reserves and also our surplus. And as I stated earlier, once we get the state aid numbers, we'll take that all in consideration when we're balancing the budget. Any questions on that? Okay. And a copy of this, these are you guys' copies, and we also have the attached copies that are on the agenda online for anyone to view. Okay. Thank you.
So excellent. Okay, we're going to start going through our other committee reports, personnel and management. Mr. Guzman.
Yes, Madam President, agenda items only, and also we met yet again to discuss the expansion of the Certified Angels program to include a parent liaison to serve the entire school district, utilizing available federal funds, which I will discuss more, I guess, on the business.
Thank you. Okay, curriculum and technology, Mr. Webb.
Agenda items only.
Okay, policy and public relations, Mr. Abbasi.
Yeah, nothing to report. There's no agenda items today other than, and the only thing I was gonna report on was that we discussed the late opening policy. And you spoke to that in your president's report. So nothing else from me. Over.
Thank you. Okay, security and safety, Mr. Guzman.
Nothing to report. And Mr. Walker did touch on the construction project.
Oh, if I could add one thing, and a big part of the thanks to this is for HEA did a lot of work. George did, and Jessica and Chief Daniele, and as well as Chief Danielle and Mayor Johnson. Once the steel part of the construction project is over, it looks very likely we're going to be able to make a slight walkable pathway from that entrance of the campus into our main part of the campus, so that people don't have to walk all the way up and then all the way around. And I know a lot of people worked hard to make that happen, and the construction company was, their point was reasonable. They said, let's just wait till the steel's done, because that's the big boy part. But I appreciate a lot of the people that worked hard to get that advocacy advanced.
It's also going to help alleviate the congestion that we're facing on Lee.
Thanks for that, George.
Nothing else to report.
Community engagement, Mr. Abbasi.
Yeah, again, I mean, everything I was going to touch on has already been reported on. I was going to remind everyone of the Read Across America coming up on Monday. The Certified Angels discussions you've already had, and the events the last couple of days. Hello's report, we'll look to see if there's any additional extracurricular activities we can, pull from that and try to incorporate in future years. And then again, just spotting the PTO, the tricky trace coming up on March 20. Other than that, I have nothing to report. And if Commissioner Moscow or Commissioner Quadrado have anything to add, other than that, nothing else. Over.
If I could jump in too, Omar. I know that one of my former students, Christian, is He's working on the Haledon recreational baseball and I believe softball as well. So we were asked to put that in our morning announcements. We've done so. We're going to have the waiver sheet available to kids if they want to come to our main office and pick it up so they can bring it home to mom or dad to sign.
Yes.
But yeah, we definitely want to partner with that organization.
Definitely.
Okay, I did see he had, I think there was something already in terms of like a meeting or a tryout or something in the rec center.
Saturday.
Yeah, Carlos probably knows more about that than I do.
Yeah, it's Saturday. What's going to be Saturday and Sunday right now?
This coming Saturday.
Right.
Okay.
We had one last week, Saturday and Sunday. We also had a coaches meeting. And then after this weekend, we're going to open up for batting cages during the week as well. So been working on dates with Councilman Norris. So
Yes, that'll be in our morning announcements, and anyone that needs a printed out version of the whatever the waiver is going to be, we'll have that ready for them.
okay.
Great, thank you. Good, baseball season is coming.
Yes.
Okay, finance and physical plant, Mr. Matsko.
We met, we discussed the bills extensively. He spoke on the budget, the audit. Other than that, we're good.
Great. Okay, so let me do my state and county now, and then we'll go back. So there was a county SBA meeting on Thursday, February 1st. The topic was advocacy and special education. So, you know, this is a very involved area, and though we're not expected to be experts, you know, as board members, it's helpful to get a general understanding of how special education works in New Jersey, so that we're informed when it comes to our district. So I asked Lois to circulate the presentation to all of the board members. I hope you all, you know, received it. The next and last county meeting for the school year is Wednesday, May 29th. It's really more of a celebration kind of event. It's to honor the county teacher of the year, and who is Amanda Rhodes from Clifton. And I think they give out other awards as well. And that's going to be at the Black Bull Steakhouse in Riverdale. Yeah. There's also coming up on March 11th, the Unsung Hero Award presentation. This is only for high school students, but Manchester is recognizing several students. So if anyone is interested in attending that, that is 6:30 to 8:30 at the Muhammad Ali School, number 23 in Passaic. And then, you know, just see your emails for other notices and about events or information that's, you know, coming up or taking place. Okay, and then Mr. Merlino, do you have?
Nothing tonight, nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's go back then. Personnel and management, Mr. Guzman.
I'd like to move items 8.1 through 8.14.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Webb. Roll call, please.
I'm gonna do roll call, but look at this one that was skipped.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll go back. If you do the roll call, I'll go back. Oh, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Okay.
Mr. Abbasi?
Can I just ask one quick question on 8.4, the green team? I saw the Board of Ed member there was still vacant. Can you just, does anybody know what the responsibilities would be associated with that?
So we actually talked about that. I believe Ms. Isa in new business is going to bring that up and invite board members. Is that correct?
Yeah.
If they want to be, we're required to meet twice per year, Omar. And you know, we talked about some of the environmental or green projects that we've done or we're looking to do. So it's the kind of thing where, you know, it would be probably about at the minimum or the maximum, maybe 2 or 3 half-hour meetings a year. And if We don't need a board member on there, but of course, we would love to have a board member on there. So if someone wants to volunteer their time on that, we'd be happy to have them.
Okay. And yes for the roll call.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Moxell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Okay, now skipping, oh no, let's go back to the appointments. I apologize, I skipped the appointments, 7.1. Can I have a motion to accept appointments, 7.1?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by, I'm sorry, I missed who moved. Moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Webb. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yeah, I just want to know that that's not a change in the special
Yeah.
degree. It's just a change in the name of the firm. My vote is yes.
Mr. Moxell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Mr. Webb, and
Yes.
Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Okay, now going back to curriculum and technology, Mr. Webb.
I'd like to move 9.1 and 9.2.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Webb, seconded by Mr. Motzko. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Moxell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Mr. Webb, and
Yes.
Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Okay, finance and physical plan, Mr. Motzko.
I'd like to move item 13.1 through 13.22.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Motzko, seconded by Mr. Webb. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abasi,
So just a really quick question, on the ACFR document, on 13.6, page 2, one of our major initiatives there lists, the expansion project, for address increased population throughout the district. And then right above number 2, it's got the daily average enrollment over the past 10 years or so. And it's been like a steady decrease from like 2016, essentially. So right now we're at an average enrollment daily of 988. What type of increase are we projecting, do you think, Mr. Walker?
So we had, I'm sure someone here will know the name of this service. We had someone that comes and projects, what's the name of the
The demographic study?
demographic study person come, and their firm's, this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, Omar, but their firm's prediction was that we're probably going to stay about even as to what we're at right now.
Okay.
However, there is some talk about other projects that the municipality may move forward on as far as housing. So, it's our job to, whatever is done, we're going to have to make sure the kids are accommodated for. So, we're paying attention to that, but that prediction was made absent of information about any other housing projects that may or may not happen.
Okay, so we're expecting to hold around steady, and so we'd be less crammed in the school.
Yeah, because when I first got here, we were at our peak, right? Like with the 105, and that was what we felt it, right? And also at that time, or similar to that time, there was I'm sure it's still going on, but the conflict in Syria. And we had a lot of refugees come, and that also bolstered us for those particular years. But right now we're a little more comfortable, but I think that could change at any time.
Okay, and then I am going to abstain from PO 4351 in 13.20. Otherwise, yes, across the board.
Ms. Quadrado,
I'm going to abstain from PO 401010, 400934, and 400629 in item 13.20. Otherwise, yes.
thank you. Mr. Guzman,
I just want to comment real quick on the demographic study. Yeah, it's about 4 years old, and I have it. If you want me to forward it to you, Omar, I still have it. When they did it, I couldn't believe it. It was laid out for about 10 years, and it predicted that our school district was going to stay with the same enrollment for about 10 years, and not a little bit under. And that thing has been on the money. But just remember that when the demographic study was done, it didn't incorporate all these new projects that the town is considering. So we may want to consider at some point doing another one. Just want to point that out. My vote is yes.
It's a good idea.
And it wasn't expensive. I don't remember it being a national.
I think it cost 6,000.
Was it that
I don't
much?
know why I remember the number, but I believe
Okay.
that's what it cost.
I thought it was
It was
less.
10,000.
So in that ballpark, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Matzo,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
I just have a question on 13.4 in regards to the 2009 Chevy Silverado.
yes.
We missed that guy.
What-
It, there was a accident on, the school premises, and we took it to the insurance to be evaluated to get fixed, but they deemed it, total loss.
Okay, so this was a district vehicle?
It
that-
was a district vehicle,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
No one was hurt.
But the new one's coming in a couple weeks.
Yes,
Can't
I'm
wait.
working on
You're working on it.
it.
And also 13.14, what is the swing education?
So that is it's just another substitute procurement service. Right now, we use Northern Region Educational Services, which a lot of Passaic County schools use. But we're seeing that if we could find alternative means to find subs or attract subs, we want to do it because it's very hard to do that right now, everywhere. So we wanted to give them a try.
And my vote is yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And Mrs. Issa.
I do have one question. I'm on 13.3, the tutoring grant. It's so great to hear that we're getting all of these grants and all this funding. That one's a big chunk, 72,000. And I was just wondering what that, how that plays out, what that
So
goes
I
toward.
really like this one. This is one, a lot of times we talk about like the Title I grant or the ESSER grant that we were told that we were going to get this. This one we actually had to go out and get for ourselves. And I'm really happy that we were able to do that. I know, Ms. Barnhill and her team worked hard to procure that. This is primarily supposed to be used for 3rd and 4th grade, but they said if you're a school that has a lot of grades, you can use it for a lot of grades. We wanted to do this in the event that the state aid numbers weren't going to be good because we didn't know 2 months ago the state numbers would be good. So I said, Beth, I really want to try and get some change here, because then I can guarantee I can keep the summer enrollment programs and I can keep the after-school tutoring programs and the enrichment programs. And now that we got this, plus we're going to get good news on state aid, now we can do even more stuff. But if we had a bad state aid total, this would what we would need to use to make sure that the after-school and the summer program we're going to stay alive. And I'm really proud that we got this.
It's great. And that was really great that you were proactive. Because now we have, hopefully we'll have
This is going to help.
even more money. That's great. Okay, so yes, I abstain on PO 401007 and vote yes for the rest. Okay, so now down to new and old business. Mr. Guzman, do you?
Sure. So as our fellow board members know, last year, 2023, our board adopted our strategic plan for the next 5 years. The first 2 goals, the first one was student achievement, the second one was social emotional learning. And with that being said, the personnel committee has met to discuss the expansion of the Certified Angels program to include a parent coordinator that will service the entire school. To fund that project, Certified Angels could pay with it with their own surplus that they have, which won't cost anything to the taxpayer, or we could use federal funds that we have available, which also will not cost anything to the taxpayer. So I just want to share these sensibility with my fellow board members. A parent coordinator plays a crucial role in increasing parent involvement, fostering a strong connection between parents and the school, and promoting a deeper understanding of parents' roles and responsibilities in their children's academic education. By hosting meaningful workshops, organizing family activities, and engaging in community outreach, a parent coordinator can create opportunities for parents to actively participate in their children's education. These workshops can cover a range of topics such as effective communication with teachers, understanding curriculum, supporting homework, and promoting positive behavior at home. By providing these resources, parents can gain a better understanding of how to support their children's academic journey. The parent coordinator can serve as a contact person who initiates and maintains a close connection and relationship between the parents and the school. This ensures that parents feel supported and have a reliable point of contact for any concerns or questions they may have. By having a dedicated liaison, parents can feel confident in reaching out and accessing the resources and support they need to help their children succeed. Current research emphasizes the importance of parent involvement in promoting school success. At the same time, the lack of participation among parents of socially and culturally diverse students is also well documented. Today's families constantly deal with stress that impacts students' ability to participate in academic and extracurricular school activities. If schools are to do an effective job of educating their increasingly diverse populations of students, they must find ways to communicate and build more cooperative working relationships with parents. Our parent coordinator / family coordinator can help establish, organize, and maintain meaningful parent involvement programs and activities, conduct workshops such as how to access the real-time portal. For example, according to our school administration, only 30% of our parents check the real-time portal, which means only 30% of our parents actually know what their child's grade actually is. That's very concerning. Parent liaison can also attend and conduct meetings as requested and needed, empower parents, and of course help bridge the home and school by helping parents get information and support they need to ensure their child's academic and social success. For the last 3 years, the Certified Angels program has played an integral role in the ultimate success of the students at HPS. The program has demonstrated its positive impact on its members and the entire school community. In order to further enhance the connection between parents and the school, the addition of a parent coordinator is crucial. A parent coordinator will serve as a dedicated liaison between the school administration and our parents, and that means the entire school community, not just kids that attend Certified Angels, by playing a pivotal role in fostering increased parent involvement. By bridging the gap between the school and the home, the parent coordinator will provide the necessary support and resources needed to ensure that parents understand and fulfill their roles and responsibilities in their children's education. With that being said, after discussing this in committee, after discussing this with our superintendent and our business administrator, I am making a motion to authorize our superintendent to direct the Certified Angels to post a part-time, because we have to crawl before we walk, parent liaison, of course, subject to approval by our board attorney in terms of job description, and obviously subject to approval by our business office as it pertains to how we're funding it, and we can move forward.
George,
Go ahead.
what we'll do is, the district is gonna post it, right?
Okay.
And then when we, and Jeff, help me out if I'm misspeaking. What we'll do is, when we create the job posting, I will delegate responsibilities for this particular position to be supervised or evaluated or whatever, how I want, but it's very likely I'm gonna look to use what your recommendation is. It's extremely likely I'm going to use recommendations for the Certified Angels, but it's still going to be a Hailton Public School employee. But I'm happy that your advocacy and from my end and from Lanika's end and from Torito's end, and Liesel's end, we all went into that meeting thinking, let's make it work, and we're gonna make it work. So Jeff, formally, what do we have to do now, Jeff?
So a motion to approve the creation of the parent coordinator part-time position, and authorize the administration to post for it. And then it'll be subject to a job description that which we can work on and do retroactively. Just because we got to check on the funding piece of what the language for the federal grant is, we have to put that federal language into the job description. So we'll have that for the future, but at least tonight we can authorize the creation of the position, and authorize the administration to post for it.
So Jeff, assuming that the board all votes yes on this, it's motion that it passed, and you and I will work later in the week, and Lamika as well, and we'll create a job description and a funding formula for it.
Correct.
Madam President, if I may, I have a motion to authorize the superintendent to post for it, pending the approval as stipulated by the board attorney.
So move. Second.
Okay, so moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Webb and Mr. Matzko. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Matzo,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Mr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Move forward with that, thank you. Okay, and then the other item for new business is the green team. So I'm just looking at the folks who are making up that committee now. It's Mr. Waka, Ms. Augustin, Mr. Sposato, our vice principal, Mr. Mann, our director of facilities, Ms. Struble, who is a teacher, but I know she's involved in like the gardening
She
club.
runs it, yeah.
Mhm. Ms. Cartana, who's HEA president, and then we have one of our parents, Mr. Baker. So it would be really nice for a board member to be on that committee, just to kind of have it, be involved. And it's so nice to sit on committees like this because you get to, work with colleagues who outside of the board, in the school and parents. And so if anybody's, Mr. Abbasi, if you're interested, or if anybody is interested, they should reach out to you, Mr.
Sure.
Waka.
Victor loved this.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
Victor's baby.
I mean, it's a great topic. It's a great initiative. Who doesn't want to be green? So if anybody is interested, please reach out to Mr. Waka.
If you're interested, you're on.
Okay. And that's all. Any other new or old business? Hi, all right then. Can I have a motion to open the floor to citizens on operations of the school?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Motzko, seconded by Mr. Webb. Roll call, please. Oh, okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, the floor is open. If anybody would like to start with anyone who's here, Ms. Serna?
For the green team, what is that in reference to? Roxanne Serna, 440 Southside. I just want to know what was in reference to, and also I wanted to point out that Tom Baker is also a custodian here, so it's only for workers, HPS employees. So that's just a question that I have. I also wanted to commend our Hilton PTA. They did a phenomenal job with the father-daughter dance. They did last Friday was the mother-son dance, which was great, and for children, for moms that didn't have that opportunity to go out to a dance with their fathers. And I was there and I volunteered, so I got to see it, and I was really happy with that. I would like the committee team for community engagement to come forward as far as Board of Ed members, do something with the parents and the children in school, and continue to keep this community engaged. And that could be with the library, or the Hilton Public Library, or the Hilton Community Events Committee,
your
Thank
first
you.
question, Ms. Serna, it's a good question there. So, when the board was creating their strategic goals, one of the goals, and Victor is probably the leader of this goal, but we all kind of agree with it anyway, it's called Sustainable NJ. That's the New Jersey government grant for going green. And right now we're at a bronze level, and we're trying to slowly get up to a higher level. And we're only one school in our jurisdiction. It's going to be hard to get to that highest level when you're competing against schools like the SAG that have 20 or 30 schools. But that's where this originated from. And I don't want to talk too much about employees, but you're right. Like we have to have at least one parent rep. But if you're interested, email me and I'd be happy to put you up.
No, I mean, I would think that you put it on the Facebook page, that way you can get some more feedback. Newsletter or something as well.
All right, let me look to do it, or at least consider what the best way to do that is. There.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Motion to close.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by
All in
Mr.
favor?
Webb. All in favor?
Aye.
And I just wanted to make a note, I wanted to, address the comments about community. The events, when you go to these events, they're so wonderful, you get like the event tonight for Certified Angels. It was so nice to watch these kids really shine, they've been practicing, they work hard, they work with their, coaches or instructors, and they're so proud of themselves. And we're, of course, the parents are so proud, and it's such a nice thing to come together to celebrate that. The dances, my daughter was at that with my husband, and they had a wonderful time. I wasn't there, but I could feel the energy, The community events are awesome, and they're such a great way to, it's not just about feel good, it's about building morale, building community, so that when we have challenges, we cannot, all come together, and we're not coming at it kind of like in a vacuum, or, we all feel like we belong, so absolutely more community events, and also tying in, not just the fun aspect, but educational aspects of it. There's so many levels that we could do that on. So I appreciate that comment, and I agree. We do a lot in this school, and thanks to the PTA, we have so many additional, events aside from school events. But we can do more, and now that we have all this money, maybe there's even more. That
I like your attitude, Lisa.
Well, the governor said he's gonna fully fund the schools this year.
They say a lot of things.
Okay, all righty. Well, on that note, let's motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a great night.